All right, good evening, everybody, or afternoon. I'm glad you could join us. We have restarted the recording. Let's just pause for a brief word of prayer, and then we'll just cover a couple topics here and answer any questions that you may have. Dear God, thank you for each one of these coaches that are represented here and the kids that they represent. And we just want to ask you to be with them during this Christmas time as they're preparing and working on their tournaments and their robot and their projects. Thank you so much for being with us. And we just ask for your blessing here tonight. In Jesus' name, amen. All righty. So glad you could join us again. We are going to take a look at a couple things here. I'm going to share my screen. And so one of the things we're going to talk about tonight, the big topic here really that we want to do, and if you can jump on this now, that's great. If you're all focused on Christmas programs and activities and need to put this on your to-do list for as soon as you get back from Christmas break, that's okay too. But these are a couple things we're going to share with you. The first one has to do with the youth registration system. This is an area that tends to create anxiety for teams when they come to tournaments is the registration is getting their team members registered. So to compete in the tournament, there are a couple sort of legal requirements, I guess we could say, which really is the case here that we need to do. One of the requirements is that every team has to have 2 coaches that are signed up, registered with FIRST for that team, and have been cleared through the youth protection program. So now a lot of times in schools, it might just be one teacher that's really working with it. And the question might be, okay, so who can that second coach be? Well, that second coach can be a principal, it could be a co-teacher, it could be a parent. The coach doesn't have to be that active. They don't need to be involved that much, but they do require 2 coaches signed up in order to be able to be ready. And so you have to have that. Otherwise, it makes it really stressful on the day of the tournament to try to get those things taken care of at the last minute. And since you have to have the screening done, if the screening hasn't been completed for the second coach, that can be quite challenging. So do check that when you do log into your FIRST dashboard, and I can log in. I'll log in here in a minute, but up in the top right-hand corner, you might see a red flag up there, some little red indicator. You don't want to see any red indicators on your dashboard. Make sure everything's done and taken care of if you're the lead coach. So the other requirement is that each of your team members need to sign a consent and release form. So this covers both us and FIRST for this. This is different than a permission slip for a field trip. This is specific and unique to this. And we really do want everybody to do this electronically. So this is a time that you want to get started. And I'm going to take this link here and I will drop it into the chat for you so you have it. And I just searched FIRST Youth Registration System. And I just Googled that or binged it in this particular case. That's what I came up with, but I'll drop that into there. In fact, we'll put this on our website as well, just to make it a little bit easier for you. I'll drop that in there so you have access to it off of the Adventist Robotics site. So this is a site that you can send your parents to. And the simplest way to do this is to have them come here and they can just click this complete registration now. Or the other thing you can do for them is just copy and paste this information right here into an email and send them an email. The only other information you need. So basically the steps here are they log into First Inspires, they click register in the top right-hand corner, they create an account for themselves. This is the parent doing it. Once they're logged in, they click on the parent, guardian, youth tab, and they add a youth and just go through, add in the information. And the other information you need to send them is the program and your youth team youth team number. So the number you receive from First for registration and the program. So the program is First Lego League Challenge. So they need to know you're in First Lego League Challenge and you put in that number. That's all they have to do. If they go through that, if they have more than one child, they can do that. Both children, just repeat that for the second child. If they're a returning parent, if they have been with you before, it's a little bit simpler, but they just need to go in and add the youth in for this year. It has to be done every year. So if they did it last year, they have to do the same consent and release again this year. You can send them a link to this page, or you can give them this information and copy and paste and provide to them. When you sign in then, and I'll log into the First dashboard here, but I don't have a team registered. Give this just a second. So when you log in, you'll have your teams and you can expand your team. Up here in the right-hand corner here by your name is where you don't want to, if you pull this down, there shouldn't be any red information there or any red information in your team. But you'll expand your team, and then there is a section there for participants. What will happen is the parent will say, oh, I want my youth to be part of the team, but then you have to accept them on your side. And then you'll be able to print out a roster from there. There's a place you can print the roster, and all you have to do is bring that roster. You don't have to bring any other paperwork with you. You don't have to bring a stack of forms or anything like that. Just that roster printed out with everybody's name listed there. So if you can go through and do that, start getting that done now. That's really important. Or if you choose to do it right after spring break or after Christmas break, as soon as you get back, get started on that, get that out of the way, get that taken care of so you're not stressed when it comes time for the tournament. That has to be done in order to compete at the tournament. So the deadline for it is the day of the tournament. But occasionally we do have teams that forget about that and come to the tournament without that done. And it's a very stressful experience for them because of that. And we do our best to help make things work, but it just makes life much easier if they do that. All right, any question on youth registration? All right, well, if you do, just jump on in later on. It's fairly straightforward. I just want to be able to do that. The other thing we want you to get done, if you have not done so already, is to register, to pay for your event registration. So this is done through Adventist Robotics, and you'll come down here for FLL Challenge event registration. And this will take you to our registration system here. And you will choose the event that you are going to participate at. And then fill out your information and pay your registration fee, and you'll be all good to go there. So if you can do that, that would be great. If you've done it already, that's fantastic, but it just helps us make sure everything's checked off as we're preparing. We're starting to order, getting ready to order trophies and all that kind of thing, and participation ribbons and participation plaques and all the different things that you get at the event. We're starting to get those ordered and fulfilled. So if you can do this for us as soon as possible, that's a really big help to us. The other thing that just want to call your attention to again is the First Lego League season information, and I'll drop this into the chat as well. And so this is a page I'm sure you're familiar with at this point in the season. But the one area that we will be spending more time on in January is the challenge judging here. And if you expand this, hopefully you're familiar with the rubrics already, and we've talked about that before. Take a look at the judging session flow chart, the awards, this information here, so you're familiar with that. And then we'll do a little bit of a deeper dive into it, into this area, and go through what to expect for the tournament day and how to begin preparing for that. So I just want you to be prepared for that. Make sure that you do that. There's a lot of other information in here, obviously, that's very good for you to review, but that's what we'll be looking at in January when we meet for a coach's call there. So that's what I have on my list for agenda here for us today. and just want to open up the floor for any questions about anything related to FIRST, if you have any questions.
Mel, for the youth registration forms, and forgive me if you said this already, are we printing them out and bringing them to the tournament?
So what you will be doing is having that done electronically, and then bringing just the roster printed out from the FIRST dashboard. There's a place where you can print your roster, and you'll print that roster and just bring that with you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah,
the parents, we really want the parents to do it electronically and digitally. That's the best way to do it. And one thing, if parents don't have internet, they come by the school, you're welcome to just kind of walk them through that process right there. If they don't have easy access to internet, although this can be done on a cell phone as well. So if somebody has a smartphone, they should be able to complete the registration that way.
Hey Mel, Lafayette here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Would you mind maybe going over the step during registration where you're selecting the region and you want to be more specific in selecting your region with ARL as when you're in the FLL on their website?
Yeah, so I'm going to go in here. That's a good point. Thank you. I'm going to go in here. So this is another area that really helps us is that make sure that you have Adventist Robotics as the region. So I'm going to go in as I'm creating a new team, since I don't have a team in here right now, and I'm going to sign up as a coach. This is going to be FIRST LEGO League, and select and continue. So when you come to this page here, and you can go into your current team and edit what's called your team profile, and that's where you'll find this. So I'll give a team name, and then I select the country, and I put in a zip code. And when I do that, it says, oh, you're here in this city, and that means that you're in this region, which in this case, it says Florida Central. But what you want to do is pull this down, and you want to select Adventist Robotics League. So, and it will say, oh, well, you're going to a different region. That's okay. Just say okay to that. So that's really the key there, because when you put in the zip code, it defaults to a geographic region. And so just check this and make sure that this area here. Now, if you've had a team registered, and I don't know if I can complete this. I don't want to go ahead and complete this and create even a team here, but if you have your team registered in your list, you'll have a place there in your team information where you can edit your team profile, and that's where you can check on that.
So the key takeaway there is to make sure you selected the correct region, otherwise you won't be seen.
Correct. So what we can do is I go into the FIRST system, and I can download all the teams that have been registered for Adventist Robotics. But if you're not listed as under Adventist Robotics, if you haven't changed that, then I don't know that the team exists, and so I don't know to communicate with you. So, and then you might miss out on some good things. So
thank you for that, Mel.
Yep, you bet. And this will be recorded. So if any of you had no other team members, we'll put this up on YouTube by tomorrow, and you can share them a link to this particular place in the recording. Any other questions?
So, well, again, I'm sorry, I have another point.
Yeah.
Is there any new information that you want to share, particularly for anyone on the call who's a brand new coach? I know in January you're going to get into some more granular things, but at this level, is there anything you can share for any brand new coaches that might be of some help, some value?
Yeah, and one of the number one things I would say would be to go back, if you haven't done so already, and listen to the last coaches conference call recording, which is on the Adventist Robotics YouTube channel. And let me just see here. I can give you a link directly to that. Give me just a sec here.
I would definitely encourage everyone to subscribe to that channel.
Yeah, that's where we do the recordings. We know that everybody cannot be here in person. Give me just a second to find the right place, your channel. And I will put this into the chat as well, so you have that available to you. Let me share my screen again. And so this is Adventist Robotics. I need to update some of the headers and such here just a little bit, but this has the last call for last coaches call here in November. So I would definitely take a look at that one. We went into a lot of great detail in a number of areas there. That being said, one of the biggest things here to take a look at, you have your challenge, you have your team leader guide, the printed material that came with your coach. Take a look at that. Definitely take time to go through this area here at this is firstlegoleague.org/season, or if you just do firstlegoleague.org, you can select season at the top of the menu here, and it will bring up this list. So a lot of great information here to go over, but definitely take a look at that at the last recording, because we went into some pretty good detail on a number of things. So, and you can also take a look at on our website, we have a record, and also on the YouTube channel, we have the recordings from the last championship tournament. So if you want to see what the gameplay part of it looks like, you can see that part of it there, just to get an idea of what to expect. Some tournaments will be smaller than that. Obviously, that was a pretty big event. A lot of things going on at that event, but that's definitely something you can take a look at. But that would be one of the biggest things, is go back and take a look at that and just review this information. All right, any other questions? Appreciate the questions and feedback. And we're here to help you be successful and give you the information that you need for that. All right. Well, if there aren't any questions, we are going to go ahead and I'll go ahead